to another episode of Wrestler's Perspective. And today we have my friend, my buddy, the solution, Dave Segan. How's it going, bro?
What's up, Kenny?
Doing all right, doing all right. I'm so glad that you actually even come to do our show.
I'm glad you asked me.
We've had immense chemistry since we've met, you know, and it was so funny. I've actually been a fan of yours before I met you.
Thank you.
Because when I took a hiatus from MPX, you know what I'm saying, to work some other shows and work some other programs. And I don't know how soon, but it was almost like I turned around and looked up, and then you were just the new guy at MPX. And you were just going, and you got hot, and it caught fire. And I was sitting up there like, who is this Segan guy? Who's this Dave Segan guy?
Who's this Jew?
Yeah, and everybody... But no, everybody just, kept talking about you. And I look up and you're just, you're in Austin, and you're in Dallas, and you're doing other stuff. And you're wrestling my friend Thunder Rosa. So I'm like, okay, this dude's getting hot. And then we met at DCW.
Mm-hmm.
But you were a part of the Impact Players. Mm-hmm. I was, still with Dot My Fight Team. And what ended up happening was they ended up wrestling each other, Becker and Ryan Remington, if I'm not mistaken. They wrestled Dante and Ty.
Yep.
So, and then you and I was like managing both
outside,
teams on the outside.
Yeah.
And we had a small little thing. And then it was like, okay, cool. And I was like, everything was great. It's like, hey, everything was great. He's like, I hope we get to work each other next month. And I was like, great. Looking forward to that too. Never happened.
Nope. I was like, when's the... All right, 6-man tag.
Yeah,
let's
right,
do it.
right.
One-on-one. Let's do it. No,
And that's fine. Things happen. That's the nature of the
wrestling.
business. It's wrestling. But I remember just, talking to Richard Hill, wanted to come back, and we're discussing ideas and things were going on. And I was, supposed to end up working in another program, but that didn't work out. And he was just like, okay, I'm going to have this match. I was like, all right, cool, I'm wrestling. It's like Dave Segan. And I was like, great. Because I've been waiting on this for at least like a year.
That was fun.
So we had our first match, and outside of I believe a couple little hiccups. So it was just, we felt something. Like it was chemistry. It was there, man.
Hiccups, that's just part of it, man.
Part of the business, man.
Nothing's going to be perfect. But that match was awesome. I love that match. We had that one spot in there where you jumped up and hit the suplex off the top rope. And I remember I was just standing, I don't know, I held my balance there, but I was like standing there and I wasn't holding on to anything. And you come up and I like hit you off and I kept standing, you jumped up again, and I don't know how the hell I stood up on that rope. I never stood up like that before. Man, that was fun. We've had a lot of fun in the few times that we've been able to do this so far.
Yeah. And it was a constant back and forth over the MPX Prospect title, and it bounced back and forth. But every single time it was just fun, man.
Yeah, we had to do an empty arena match, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's something else.
That was awesome, man. So from what I've heard, you're not from this area.
No, I'm not.
Where are you from?
I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Not West
Awesome,
Philadelphia, though.
Okay, awesome.
I was born and raised there.
So what was growing up in Philly like?
I love it there, man. I miss it. I lived in the actual city of Philadelphia until I was probably like 5 or 6, and then moved like right outside the city in the suburb where I grew up. We moved out to the suburbs because my sister wanted to be a cheerleader, and my mother wanted us to go to a nice suburban school for her to do that. She never ended up being a cheerleader, and we never moved back to the city. So that's what happened there.
So living in Dallas, being from Philly, and the Eagles and the Cowboys. Yeah, how's that dynamic living?
So anytime anyone asks me where I'm from, because they see the plates on my card being from Pennsylvania, anytime anyone notices or asks me, whatever. Yeah, when I say I'm from Philly, that's the first thing anyone goes to. Oh, Eagles fan. Luckily, I'm not a big sports fan. It's just always been wrestling. So I'll say I'm an Eagles fan, but then when they start speaking to me about it, and they realize I don't know anything about it, they're like, oh, okay, we're not going to give you too much credit.
He's just rooting for the whole thing. Which is respect. I have a lot of respect for Cowboys fans. It's just fun to get under their skin, man.
It's really fun. It's really fun. Like, I love getting under people's skin. I don't know if anyone knows that about me, but like, I love doing stuff to just see what type of reaction I'll get from people.
Right.
Being able to do that, the Cowboys fan, oh man.
And it fits so well into wrestling. That's if you work it right, it can be on a nightly basis. And it's just so good.
It's perfect. When I was doing the heel stuff, just being from Philadelphia was great. Anytime I came out there, like that was number one thing when I first started. Being from Philadelphia, they hated it. And in turn, anytime I go home and I'm wrestling back there, I say I'm from Dallas.
Nice.
And they hate it. It's
nice.
great.
Oh, man.
By way of Dallas or
Oh
from
my
Philadelphia.
God.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It just works out
that's a nice
perfectly.
double sword.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I can't even throw my hat in the bin, man. They go, where are you from? I'm like, Detroit. And they're just like, oh yeah, we're not even going to talk football with you. That's pretty much non-existent.
Like, okay.
I'm like, okay. So that's cool, man. That's cool. So when did you actually start watching wrestling?
Dude, man, I started watching wrestling when I was probably like 5, like intermittently with just my older brother. Little things, we'd be sitting on the couch flipping between like wrestling, Star Wars: The Next Generation, which I was not a big fan, or Star Trek: The Next Generation. Oh, gee, you can tell I'm not a big fan of it.
Yeah. You gotta be careful with those treks.
Yeah. Super Mario Brothers Super Show, but wrestling was just something I loved. And I just I remember like Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, just like it was cool when I was younger. But then when I got to be like in 3rd, 4th grade and Attitude Era was going on, Mr. McMahon, Stone Cold The Rock.
Mom let you watch that?
Yeah, they did.
Oh my God.
Yeah, my brother was watching it with his friend Josh, my friend too, Josh, who plays he plays probably the largest role in me getting into wrestling.
Nice.
But my brother was watching with him, and he would talk to me about, he stayed up late with Josh, and they would flip between WCW and WWF, and how funny Scott Steiner was. That was a big thing. But we just became big WWF fans. And then when I really got into it was like December 1998, the lead up to In Your House Rock Bottom.
Oh yeah.
Rock Bottom being the first pay-per-view we ordered, and just from there on, I've been obsessed my whole life since then.
Nice. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Rock was the guy.
Yeah, man. Rock was Rock's the guy who made me want to be a wrestler, who I loved. And favorite wrestler besides Rock, Christian. Whenever I say that, people.
No, Christian is great.
Yeah, Christian's awesome. Whenever people hear
so good, so underrated.
Yeah, dude, Christian, that's like my guy. And I try to do a lot of things that he does, like song wise and character wise. But when people hear like, who's your first? I'm Christian. They're like, that's weird. I can see that in you, though. Okay, cool.
No, Christian, man, it's so funny because it's just he doesn't get the credit he deserves just due to the whole Edge deal. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it's just like they're of course everybody's gonna mirror their careers next to each other, but when you really look at underrated matches and underappreciated performers, man, especially at this time, he was that guy, dude. Like he was just he was killing it in everything.
He was killing it in everything he's done. And that's just one of those things. Is I was watching when he first came in the Brood, and then just watching him evolve to what he ended up as. Like that's like the guy I watched from the beginning to the end, and I just try to emulate that dude. Love
so
that.
how'd you feel during his during his world title run and everything?
Dude, when he won that world title and I read the spoilers that he lost it to Randy Orton, that still gets me.
Oh, man.
Dude, that's one of those moments I was in bed reading those spoilers on a Tuesday night and just being heated. Yeah. And that's still one of those things that when I think about it, I'm like, oh my God, that pisses me off.
Yeah, it hurt, man. And it's just even reading the dirt sheets and kind of reading interviews and stuff, knowing Randy didn't want to do it.
Yeah, he didn't want to do it.
He didn't want to do it, and then Chris, Chris had, really, was kind of up in the air about it, and it was just and knowing McMahon and, the way his thought process was, he was just kind of yeah, but we just turned Randy face, so we need a hot heel, and we don't really have one. And we have to build one.
Yeah.
So he's just you're the guy. You're the guy that can do everything, and it sucks because it's it's almost like the Ziggler spot. It's just you're the good hand that can do everything, but it's do we really see you as the guy?
That stuff is so annoying. I get it though.
And it sucks.
Yeah,
it sucks. But I for one, from day one, from watching Edge and Christian with their stuff, the 5-second pose.
5-second pose is everything.
Everything, man. Even his whole thing with Edge, man. Where Edge won King of the Ring.
Yeah, he won King of the Ring. Christian. Yeah. Dude, everything. Then when he cut his hair and he had the Intercontinental title on Raw. Before that, when he teamed with Jericho and they ran against Lee. Dude, that WrestleMania 20 match between him and Jericho.
Oh my God, yes.
It was one of my favorite matches of all time.
Yes,
I love that match.
It's so good. It's so underrated. And the thing about it is, a lot of people don't give him his credit. He's so smart. He does this whole shtick. It's kind of funny to me. Cause Christian will, he'll act like he's, kind of a pompous goof and a jerk and all this other shit. But when you really think about it, when it really comes down to it, he's a really caring guy, really nice guy, you know what I'm saying? And very smart, very smart. And all the like the higher up guys, the guys that we idolize, the Rocks, the Stone Colds, like when it was like, no, dude, Christian's the guy.
Yeah.
Like he's the man.
If there's one thing, Christian, if you happen to come across this at any point, just know I'd love to be friends, man. Like I just love to be friends. That's all I can really say.
We could do that. We could do that on Twitter. Do that hashtag. You know what I'm saying? Solution and Christian, man. It's just like
so my friend Josh, he got me into this. So he watched wrestling with my brother. He when he was a teenager, he actually started his own indie promotion back home called TWF. They were teenagers. They actually put on some live shows. He had trained with Alpha at WXW
Nice.
Wild Smoke. So he was trained. He kind of taught his friends how to do bumps and run the ropes when they were teenagers. So they put on shows. They ended up getting shut down because they were teenagers.
Of course.
I went to these shows, of course, and watched because he was on it. My brother was on it. My sister was a valet on it. So I went and I watched.
That's awesome.
It was that was like the coolest thing seeing as an elementary school kid. Then when they were 18 and older, they reopened, and I was in middle school, and this was my first introduction to actual indie wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So then they were putting on shows. Still, he had trained with Alpha. He did more training. Everyone else went up to WXW a few times and learned a few things. Then they were putting on shows and bringing in legit indie guys that in the Northeast are still wrestling today. I saw them when they started back then. One of the guys is Kevin Matthews, who's on Impact now.
Nice.
So that's funny. Then they stopped when I was a teenager. Then they had one more run. When I graduated high school when I was 18. So one more run, I was old enough to do it. I learned how to take a few bumps. I learned how to run the ropes. And I wrestled for I'd say 8 months to a year. It was one show a month for however long. If you can call them matches, whatever you want to call them. They're on YouTube. They're terrible. Looking at them now, I'm looking at stuff that I'm doing. I was like, oh my God.
Oh, that's the worst. Watching stuff you did
because I wasn't trained. And now looking at what I did when I wasn't trained, it's hilarious. So I went and I did that. And so Josh Chernoff, who was he was the co-host of the After podcast, the After Chat podcast. Now he has his own show on Fight TV at the moment. Nice. It's a satirical, it's the Daily Show version of wrestling. He does it.
Awesome.
Yeah, he does it once a month before every pay-per-view, a highlight everything leading up to it. So he found his niche in wrestling now because he had neck injuries and stuff, so that didn't work out for him.
Yeah,
but I remember at one point, when we were running the TWF on the third time, he had gone down to OVW. His whole thing was to go down there and hopefully earn a contract or something.
Yeah.
So I told him, if you ever get to meet Christian or anything,
right.
let me know. And then right when he had gotten there, that's when WWE pulled out of OVW.
Oh, man.
So I was like, oh man. But then Christian was in TNA also, and then they started some type of partnership. So I was like, yo, if you're gonna meet Christian, that's the one thing. I just really want to be friends with that dude because he seems cool.
Now, how did you feel when he went to TNA? Because I remember I read in Batista's book. It was at the time, and I believe that he got drafted to SmackDown.
Yeah, he went over to SmackDown,
and he felt out of place.
Yeah.
He was just not that. SmackDown's a bad brand or whatever, but he just felt that the company would never give him the ball, and he had to, leave in order to prove himself.
Mm-hmm.
And when TNA first started, I didn't know he was over there. Mm-hmm. I just knew Christian left, like most guys do. Stuff happens in the business, bumps and bruises, you leave. So I didn't know he was in TNA at the time until I found out later about TNA. But how'd you feel about that run?
So Christian was just coming off that awesome run on Raw. The feud with Cena that never really transpired.
Yeah.
Then he got moved over to SmackDown. I'm like, okay, cool. He was put in a 6-man match for the new SmackDown Heavyweight Championship, which didn't happen because Batista then came over to SmackDown with the world title. And then he ended up in some random feud with Booker T. And then his contract expired, and then there was Taboo Tuesday, and he stayed one pay-per-view extra because he was one of the participants. They could have been voted into a match, and he left. I was watching TNA at the time. I liked TNA. They had AJ Styles over there. I've always been a big fan of Jeff Jarrett, and Jeff was the top guy. Jarrett teamed with Owen Hart. I loved Owen Hart. I think I just got a soft spot for Jarrett because of that, and I loved that theme music he used at the time.
I did when he was.
And I love Deborah. She was my first wrestling crush.
When he, Deborah was awesome. When he was in WCW, man, and it was so funny because it was just he was just always that pint-sized tough guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Especially with that damn guitar and this and that. Like, and it was funny just watching him. You know, I didn't watch much of WCW, but every time I saw clips and, you know, kind of things like that, or at least, you know, flipping through the channels with my cousin, seeing stuff with Jared, I was just kind of like, I don't know who that little guy is. I know like the big guys, but he seems rather big.
I always liked him. And then I didn't watch WCW, so I didn't watch any of his stuff when he went bad, but just like teaming with Owen Hart, being with Deborah, he was cool. He hit people with a guitar. He had that cool silver gear, the funny glasses, and I liked when he cut his hair. I was like, okay, this guy's cool. So he was doing the whole Planet Jarrett thing in TNA, where it's like every heel was in Jarrett's group, and then Christian. There's a mystery signing. Of course, I was reading the internet, so I was like, oh, it's gonna be Christian. Then he comes out, and Team Canada tries to get him to join. And I'm like, I'm gonna watch this now because Christian's my guy, and I will stick by this to the day that I die. TNA was at its best when Christian was a top guy there. I will say that. I believe that wholeheartedly. TNA was absolutely on fire when Christian was a top guy, and when he left, things died down a little bit for me. Hogan came in like not that long after, and then things went really down south. And Christian made TNA good. I'm sticking by that statement.
I love TNA, man, and it was funny because I didn't really start watching to the end of his run.
Okay.
And he came back, and I remember I was in high school, and I was watching wrestling and reading a couple magazines and stuff, and this school was actually weird. It was called I want to say Academy of Inkster. That was in Inkster, Michigan. And I went there, and of course they had, but even though I lived in Detroit, it was a bunch of kids who, of course they rode the bus all over, the city and stuff. So I was sitting there on this bus with a group of my classmates, and it was so weird to me because the last school I went to, very few people watch wrestling. Okay. This school, everybody watched wrestling. Yeah. It was like so crazy. So I went there, and everybody's like, "Yeah, dude, like." So you don't watch TNA? And I was like, I don't know, man. That kind of sounds inappropriate. And he was like, no, TNA. And he was like, dude, they got Samoa Joe, they got AJ Styles. And I'm like, who are you talking about, dude? I was like, yeah. They got like, Bobby Roode and James Storm. And I was like, again, who are these guys? And then it was like, oh yeah. And then, they got Christian. And I was like, Christian's there? And it's like, yeah. It's like, I think Kurt Angle's coming. And I was like, what channel is this? That was big. I heard Christian and Kurt Angle. I was like, what channel is this on? Yeah. I have to watch immediately. So, of course, I couldn't find it for the longest. And I finally found it. By then, Christian actually came back to ECW. But by the time I started watching it, I kind of saw all the stuff they were doing. I was like, wow, this is amazing. Yeah. So I actually, of course, signed, to... I want to say it's Global GWN.
The Global Wrestling
Network.
Yeah,
the Global Wrestling Network, yeah. And I actually started watching, I get to watch all Christian stuff, yeah. And his stuff with Tom Cole, his stuff with Sting,
dude, the Christian Coalition, man. Dude, that's some good stuff.
Dude, it's just great stuff, man. And it's so funny just seeing this. It's refreshing seeing a smaller guy. Nothing against big guys and guys who have size and can move and stuff. But it's refreshing seeing a smaller guy like Christian with a big mouth. Yeah. Because that's what he does have. He has a big mouth. And it's just like, and he's just putting on matches that are just great.
Dude, you got to wrestle AJ Styles there, Kurt Angle, Samoa Joe, Bobby Roode, James Storm, like Abyss, all those dudes, man. Yeah. And when I first started watching TNA, the X Division was obviously their big thing, and that's stuff that I hadn't really seen before. Yeah, you had the cruiserweights in WCW, man.
But it was like they took what WCW.
Yeah, they brought it to a new level. And we're around the same age, like being pretty much end of high school, like seeing that stuff for the first time. It's cool. It's like watching a video game. We're watching a superhero fight film,
Yeah.
We might look at it. I don't know if you look at it any differently now. I'm sure there's some things.
It's still some of the best stuff.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
People are like, oh man, they're not selling other stuff. Like, wrestling is not confined to what's right and what's wrong. Like, there are different types, and there's a flavor for everybody.
I've always been a wrestling guy, like over character guy. You know what I'm saying? And that's not to say I don't love great characters, because you have your Rob, your Bray Wyatt, your Bobby Roodes. Like, NXT does characters so damn well. Yeah. Like, I can binge watch that all the time. But what TNA did so good was just great wrestling.
Great wrestling.
Like, all the time. Like, sometimes the stories didn't click, things didn't match up, but like, that was one of the first shows, especially when Christian was there. It was, you can watch from top to bottom. And even regardless what the story was, and even though how to fluff what they got, you can sit up there and watch these matches, you go, dude,
they're excited.
Killing it.
Yeah, they're excited.
Killing it. From top to bottom, they're killing it. I think it was like the first place I actually saw the Bucks.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Generation Me,
dude. And I was like, oh, dude, they're fire.
Yeah, just, I mean, both go hand in hand. Like, depending on what you like, there's going to be something for everyone somewhere. And that highly athletic go and go and go, that's entertaining. Like, it's people say, like, oh, the incel, it takes me out of it. Yeah, okay, I get it. I understand that. But, like, it's fun to just objectively look at the feats of athleticism sometimes. It's just, that is what it is.
And it's so funny. Getting back to Christian, how do you feel about his one more matchstick with the whole thing with Randy? I will say this. To give Christian his credit, he could have just, had one run with the title. It ended shortly. It is what it is, kid. It's over. But he took that and ran with it and milked it. And when you really watch him and Randy's matches, they built so well. Oh
my God, yeah. So those matches with Randy, like, if you just watch them in succession, all the things, how they kick back to, like, something happening in the first match and they don't let it happen. What I love is Christian losing the title on SmackDown, doing the thing off the ropes, he turns into the RKO. They play that up so much, and the whole feud when it ends at SummerSlam with Christian losing the title in the street fight, when he does the same thing, he gets RKO'd on the steel steps. Like, everything they did in that feud, all the matches just connected into each other and made all the stories in those matches made one larger story, and that's what I love. And they did that through character work, yes, promos, whatever, but the thing that's great about that feud is the actual story of the matches themselves.
Yeah.
I implore everybody to go and watch those matches. From the first SmackDown match between those two, there was, like, Over the Limit, Money in the Bank, and then maybe there's one more, and then SummerSlam. I don't know.
I think it was like Capital Punishment.
Yeah, Capital Punishment.
I think that was the one time they ran that Capital Punishment paper.
Yeah, it was headlined by John Cena versus R-Truth.
Yeah. And then by SummerSlam, which it was so great because I think he won the title back by he didn't really. No,
yeah, he
got disqualified.
He got disqualified.
Because he spit on him.
He spit on him, or he kicked him in the nuts. He's the first person to win the world title by disqualification, which I love. That's awesome.
And it was so funny because even though he wins this title and, like, Orton's, like, steaming, he sits there and he just takes such a beating, and they're carrying him to the back and he's just sitting there with the title. So completely defeated. It's so great.
I guess I've been to, like, a decent amount of WWE shows, but two of the things that I love the most is one, in the lead up to The Rock and Cena, I believe. I went to the Raw before that where I got to see The Rock live for the only time in my life, so that's cool. And then I got to go to a SmackDown during Christian's title run, so I got to see Christian with the title live. So two fan moments right there, complete for me.
That's awesome, man. So, is there any, speaking of Christian and you being such a fan, is there anybody else you also emulate your style after?
People I would love to emulate my style after, like AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan. Those two guys are just great. I don't know. Like, I think I try to probably emulate Christian the most. I was a big fan of Randy Orton too. When he was in Evolution, he turned me on to be a big thing. Just
Evolution, right?
Yeah,
so
that guy is just so fluid in the ring. Like, you don't imagine what he'd be like if he really, really, really tried. I would love to be able to be like that. So I'll try my best to emulate him. I don't know if I'm anywhere close. I don't think I'm anywhere in the same wheelhouse. But I think I definitely just try to think what works best for me is just try to be me. And like you see dumb stuff like this, like
because
that's me.
It is so funny because your sense of humor is like that, like how they have like Christian and Jericho's and stuff. Because it was some stuff that we're doing backstage after the when you won the title and you were kind of just doing extra backstage stuff, and I swear it was the most hilarious thing I've ever seen at the time because it was just you were just so high energy. Like just blunt, but also just boastful, and it was just the funniest thing. Like it was like, it's JR had this great quote about Kurt Angle, and this is one comparison I'll give you. He said Kurt Angle could get a box of Girl Scout cookies and make you think that he just won the World Series. And I've seen you take the absolute smallest thing and just absolutely like just lose your mind. So where you're just like, I'm just looking at you and it's just like, dude, this dude is just won the World Series. Like you can get a ribbon and just make it be the most over the top ribbon that anybody's ever seen. I was like, God damn, Dave's good.
I could say Goofy Kurt Angle is one of my favorite things. Just anything that he did when he was just being goofy. That's the thing, like, if you're doing something, and I learned this, I did musical theater and stuff in high school,
awesome. Okay.
That probably shows a lot. But I learned one of those things is like, whatever you're doing, no matter how small and dumb it is, you have to you have to be fully into it because people aren't going to believe it. So that was one of those things, like, if I was on stage and like there's a scene going on and I'm not the focus, I probably shouldn't try to make myself the focus, but you know damn well I'm going to. Whether it's something small. I remember I got in trouble during a play once. I was in the play Into the Woods. And
I was in the same play.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. So I was in Into the Woods. I didn't have a part. I was like, one of the characters had like 2 guards that came with them everywhere they went.
Oh, nice.
I was just one of the 2 guards. So I literally would walk on stage a few times, stand there with my hands behind my back, and that was it. Then we'd leave. But I can't do just that. So
I was born to be a god.
Dude, one of the nights, the first night of the play, and after the first night I was told by the director I can no longer do this. I would come out from behind the stage and I jumped out. Like high, I landed on my feet. And I put my hands behind my back and I just stood there with my eyes just crazy. And I was like looking around and doing shit and the crowd was laughing. And I'm not supposed to be the focus of that scene at all. So when that night was over, like, you need to tone that down about 10 notches. The thing I love about wrestling is you don't need to tone anything down ever. They're only telling you to tone it up. No one's told me to tone anything up so far because they know, like, if they give me anything, I'm just going to run with it as much as I can. That's what I love about this. It's like, when I had this title, just going out there and taking stupid pictures with it every day because it was something to do. People hated it, and it was just over the top. I love stuff like that. That's the stuff I can't do as much now with where my character's at, which sucks.
Dude, it was so funny because I think it was gotten even to the point, going back to musical theater, like, you're creating songs about losing the title. and the crazy part, because I'm like, dude, my uncle's a comic, so I've always just kind of like, I've always been like, anything comedic, it's just like, I'm automatically paying attention to it. And of course, I've been a fan of remixes and Weird Al and Yankovic stuff. So like, when you were doing that kind of Weird Al shtick about losing the title, like, I'm just watching this stuff like, this is the greatest stuff ever. It's hilarious.
So the guy I worked with, Presley Miller, who helped with the MPX network and everything, got everything set up over there. We were working on the song, we pretty much recorded, which will get released one day with a music video. That will happen.
I cannot wait.
But
so serious.
It's gonna be great. But he had twins, so he like had twins right as we were like finishing things up. So he's super busy. I honestly had written like 4 or 5 songs just about my heel character and stuff that I had done at this point. I wrote a song solely dedicated to Baby D that will get recorded at some point. And I'll have my own
Shout out to Stacy.
I'm going to have my own little EP out there on iTunes at some point just about the stuff I did as this character.
So great. Oh my God.
Continue. I wrote a love song to the championship. Like the first Prospect Championship song was about me winning the title and then losing it. And then I wrote just like a heartbroken song about losing the championship. So that'll happen.
Is there any way we can get a sample or a preview of anything?
Let me see.
Anything.
I didn't record it, but I have like lyrics.
Oh my God. So exclusive. And make sure, the powers that be, make sure we get this EP. We are super serious about this.
So this song was called Baby D, and then in parentheses, Stay Away. Because at the time on Facebook during her feud, whenever she posted anything, I would just say stay away on it, no matter what it was. And Baby D doesn't have like a gimmick / or a personal profile. Like, they're mixed. Right. So she'd be writing pretty personal stuff on there, and I'd be like, stay away. I didn't miss a beat. I was just always like, stay away.
I got a flat tire on the way to work. Stay away.
No matter what she posts. And it was like, stay away. Baby D, stay away. Listen to me, stay away. You'll never be, stay away. So good like me. Oh, baby D, won't you stay away? The moment you left, it was like Christmas Day. What a surprise, you couldn't stick to your word. I'm getting a call from a debt collector. Causing public disturbance, controversy. There's your first verse right there. So, yeah, like there's a whole song written here. I got the tabs. I got a bridge and the chord progression for the solos. Like,
oh my god!
Like this is gonna happen at some point.
Oh my god! I cannot wait for this. Oh my god!
What else I got here?
That's gonna be so damn funny.
So that will get released. I'm hoping before I take my leave from Texas, which will be at some point. I hope I get those all out and get those CDs made and maybe sell them, maybe just hand them out. I don't even know, but I can't wait. That's what I did, man.
Oh, good God. Okay, so speaking of, moving from Texas, how did you make that transition from Pennsylvania here?
It was a series of unfortunate life events that led to me coming to Texas.
There was no Lemony Snicket's involved, wasn't there?
Lemony Snicket's?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
A series of unfortunate events, bro.
What's that from? Is that Harry Potter?
Never mind.
Okay.
We know who the nerd in the room is.
Sorry. Just different things in my life so there's several things which led to my job at the time, canning our office and then going, hey, if you want to continue work from us, we'll move you to Texas and give you a promotion. So I was like, after everything, why not? Right. Me and my buddy I worked with, we were both offered promotions. So we came down here. We lived together for the first year. Right at that time, I had met Jackson Stone at CZW where I was training at the moment.
Nice.
And we were just talking. I was like, I'm moving to Texas sometime soon because we were becoming kind of friendly. He's like, I moved from Dallas. He's like, do you know what you're going to do with this? And I was like, no, the only place I'd found so far was the DFW Academy, so I'm going to go check that out when I come down. I talked to Lamont a little bit on Facebook, and he said, why don't you message Stephen Kirby at MPX, and that's where I trained, and I was like, okay, so I messaged Stephen. It was very hard to find information about the MPX school online, which I've told Stephen about, so hopefully we get some stuff out there.
Yeah.
That's
they have
a hidden
links
gem,
It's
a hidden gem to find it. So when I moved down here, I arrived on a Saturday. I came to MPX on Sunday to train that night, where I'd met Ryan, Tommy, Dalton, Steven, and El Sapo. And, Sapo, you're a great guy. So I went there on Monday night. On Tuesday. Shout out to Sapo. Then on Tuesday night, I went over to DFW, which was awesome also. But I was living in Addison at the time. And while both of them weren't exactly convenient to me and my commute, MPX was a little more convenient. And the structure at that time for me was better of the way training was. So I stuck with them. And then they did the first, I don't know if it was the first, but they did MPX Friday Night Fights. Where I remember that. Yeah. I had a match with Richter Reigns and a gentleman, James Lightning, who lives out in Houston. And they said my stuff wasn't awful. So Richard got my information, and then we started doing stuff in December or January on the MPX main show. They had me come in as a crooked ref. Okay. And then I wrestled after that, and here I am today. Yeah. Okay, awesome. So that's cool, because you definitely had, some accolades, prospect champion, of course, we talked about, the current MPX Addicts champion and stuff, with some great runs. You got to work with some guys. Who have you enjoyed working with the most so far? Maybe not even the most, just, some guys that come to mind immediately that you had some fun with. Everything's been awesome so far. I can't think of, literally, I can't think of anything I've disliked. Anytime something with wrestling, if it begins to irk me a little bit, I just quickly remind myself, this is what I've always wanted to do, so I'm not going to let it bother me, because it's really cool that I'm getting to do it. Yeah, because a lot of people don't have that. That's a very great attitude. Anytime I'm like, no, man, this is right. You're getting in the ring and you're performing. That's cool. So, whatever. Everything's been awesome so far. We had fun matches that were awesome. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. Wrestling Baby D, that was a lot of fun. Stacy's awesome. Silver, we got to do a lot of stuff. Silver's probably the first rivalry I had there, which was awesome.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, that's been a lot of fun. Getting to work with Tommy and Ryan on a team, and now getting to wrestle them has been great. Literally, like I have matches with Brent McKenzie that were fun. Dalton was awesome to work. I got to work Palmer. Like Palmer was the first one I was like at MPX. I was like scared about because I like and respect him a lot. So I told him like, dude, I like you a lot. I respect you a lot. I think you're awesome. I'm nervous about this match. I flat out told him. He was really cool about it. In other places,
we had him on the show.
Yeah, like in other places, I like the first one I was really nervous about was when I got to wrestle LaMotta at DCW.
Oh, nice.
Because
LaMotta's
awesome wrestler, awesome guy, and I mean I'm a little bit unfamiliar with Texas wrestling because I'm not from here.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was clearly painted to me how important he's been to the scene and how much he's done here. So I was like, oh,
when I first started, I was training with LaMotta. Like when very first one I started. Wow, shout out to LaMotta, man.
Awesome guy.
Yeah, he was awesome, man. But just watching, him have matches with Palmer, and Greg and stuff, and me and him got to train and work together, man. Just great dude, man. Great dude, and just like it's almost like. Because he kind of had to take a hiatus for a while.
Yeah.
And it was so funny. It was just like every time I turned around, it was almost like the legend of JT LaMotta.
Seriously.
Man. So it's just so he's done phenomenal work, man.
Yeah.
Hope I get to see hope we all get to see him again soon.
Yeah. That was clearly thrown on me. Like, dude, this guy's a legend down here.
Yeah.
Like, and he likes to do a lot of stuff. So I was like, oh boy, I'm not a spot guy at all. Like,
they hit you with the be ready, kid.
Yeah. He got me through that, so I was really nervous. Like first match I had here was me teaming with Mike Fox, who I was unfamiliar. I moved down here, but he's another guy who is a legend down here. So
Fox
I found that out.
So good.
Yeah, Fox is awesome. So I've had the opportunity to wrestle him now and
wrestle.
wrestle like in a team with him. That's great.
Great.
First match was me and him versus Jason Silver, who I've got to do a lot with, and I've had a lot to do with Randy Wayne, not at MPX. Randy and I. We get put together a lot in other places. It's hilarious, and I like Randy a lot. Randy's been awesome to me. Yeah, he's been a really great guy to me since I moved down here, and he's helped me out a lot. Just been like a cool person to talk to and hang with when I've seen him. So I won't have anything bad to say about Randy, and I've liked working. The man chops hard as hell, but I mean, who doesn't at this point, right?
You know what I'm saying? It's snug style, but you know what I'm saying? It's required.
Yeah. He's one of the first guys that I was in there with where we didn't. I'm still not good at calling stuff in the ring, but Randy likes to, and I've always been able to hear him and figure out what he wants.
Yeah.
So that's been a super big help to me.
Yeah. Oh, that's dope, man. And and it's so funny here with these people because you're it's hilarious. Your style is so Christian. So now like picturing with these guys and seeing some of these matches because again it was almost like a good year until like we locked up. We've heard of each other for a while, and what I'm saying it was let's try some stuff, let's try to get it, but it just never happened.
It never happened.
MPX it did happen, so so a lot of this stuff, man. I'm actually kind of upset I missed, man, because I had missed some fire to watch, bro.
It was there was some fun stuff, and I mean. Like this year's already starting out pretty cool. Like I've been like one of the people I've wanted to wrestle since I came down here was Stephen Kirby, and we never got to, and we finally did. I got to wrestle Steve DeMarco not that long ago, who's another guy who's been around for a while. Yeah. I got to wrestle James Johnson, who James is great. He's one of my best friends down here, and
so smart.
We never, we had like a 6-man tag. We did me, Tommy, and Ryan versus him, Joey Garcia, and Justin Credible, and that was where like the whole really impact player thing started with the team with the 3 of us. And James was in that match, and we didn't really do anything. Like he hit me a few times in the corner, and then we didn't do anything for the rest of it. So having to get that one-on-one match with him was great. Just everyone's always got their list of like, oh man, the top indie names they want to wrestle. Like this past year, like I did like an offshoots interview, and they asked me the same question, and it wasn't any of those guys. Like guys that were on there at the point that when I had talked with them, like Gregory James, Stephen Kirby. I think I might have said like Jerome. We had done stuff at this point.
Yeah.
So like Tommy, Ryan, I was like, these are all guys like I want to work. Like it's interesting you're not picking up super indie names. I'm like, no, I'm here. Like these are a whole bunch of great guys I haven't had the chance to do anything with. I want to do that stuff first, you know?
Yeah. And it's funny too because I've always said Texas is kind of almost like a weird black hole of talent where it's so much great talent. I mean, it's probably just due to the state being so large, of course, but it's so much great talent, and it's funny because you do kind of have your own list of Texas guys you want to work before you kind of get out. Kind of work guys. But no, it's a lot of great guys, man, and it's nice to see a lot of guys finally getting out, getting their shine, getting their spots. You know what I'm saying? And it's really cool. But it's, you know, I definitely, you know, enjoy finding out when Texas guys are starting to kind of get their shine and they just do. It's great because there's so much great talent.
It's strange because you hear like the Northeast. That's a hotbed for indie wrestling, and there's a lot of great guys up there, but there's a lot of shit wrestling up that way. Like, one of the things when I came down here, I was super impressed with, just from being around indie wrestling for years up there, is people had gear here. I was like, okay, I'm gonna, because I mean, I'd been to Texas once before, and I mean, I'd been to Dallas, and it was nice, and I moved down here, and I was like, okay, I mean, it's nice, but like, you know, sometimes the South gets a little bit of a stigma from the Yankees up north, so I was like, okay, if these people up here wearing their dirty, ripped T-shirts and their jeans that they wore to work that day, like, what are people in Texas going to be wearing? And I can't know, everyone's got fucking gear, you know? Like, I was like, okay, cool. And that's not to say other things aren't okay. I mean, because that all has to do with character and the vibe you're trying to get off. But, like, up north, like, I wish, when we went up there last time, we had this 9-man tag match. It was like me, Tommy, and Ryan versus 2 other 3-man teams. And they're just comprised of people that, like, had no business being together. One dude was wearing a bathing suit and, it was like board shorts and like an Under Armour tank top. And the dude was in his 40s. So it's not like he was in good shape, so he shouldn't have been shirtless. But, like, he's just some journeyman that might have been just, like, hanging out and wrestling this one place for the last 30 years. Like, no disrespect to him, but disrespect to him. Like, come on, man. So, at least get some tights.
So a big thing that kind of, well, I don't know. I mean, I'll say big thing, but I'll say one thing I noticed. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, then so many people are jaded about the business. One thing that I noticed I did enjoy was your run with the Impact players. And how did you enjoy that?
That was a lot of
fun.
fun.
With Tommy and Ryan, because it was kind of a weird shtick. Like, all you guys really just fit, and you kind of just stuck. You kind of had the same personalities, but you're still like the same but different. It was a nice little, you know, trio.
Yeah,
so,
it was. I mean, we had a lot of fun doing a lot of stuff together, but you know, I think I was on a different page of how I wanted to go about things than they were. And I mean,
because they were actually the tag team.
Yeah, they're the tag team, and I was kind of like, usually you look at a group and people are like, oh, you got your singles guy, and then you have your tag guys. And this was kind of like, you have your tag guys, and then you have your single guys, which is fine. But I mean, like, they were kind of, and they absolutely should be doing this. I mean, they're close. They're very good friends.
Yeah, and I believe they started around.
They started around the same time together. They're very good friends. That's not to say that I'm not good friends with them, but like I'm different than they are.
You're the outside guy.
Yeah, I'm the outside guy, and there's a difference. They're 22. They're both 23 now. I'm 30. Like I have a different life than them. You know, I look at things differently. I tried to do things differently. At the same time, I started wrestling like matches when I was 29. You know, I started pretty late, so I have an idea of the things that I want to do and how I want to go about them. And sometimes, and I'm not like a squeaky wheel, but you know, sometimes if I feel like things should be doing a certain way when they come to how I should approach things, it's hard to do in a group of 3 because where they may not want to speak up about something, I might want to speak up about something. Then it kind of puts a. I mean, I'm sure you know that more than
been there.
So, you know, we're all good. I mean, we're all very good. That came off like we weren't, but we are very good.
it's kind of hard to get that for, and I know where you're coming from because it's like you still have to move and gel and act like a unit. But at the same time, you're bouncing around ideas, and everybody's kind of got their own ideas.
And sometimes people want them on the show and not you and stuff like that. So it's like, cool, that's awesome. Like, everyone needs to get out there and do their thing. It just got to the point where, you know, I think it got to the point where, I think it got to the point where, you know, I think it got to the point where, you know, I think it got to the point where, you know, I think it got to the point where, you know, I think it got to the point where, you know, I think it got to the point where, you know, I think it got to the point where, you know, I think it got to the point where, you know, I think it got to the point where, you know, I think it got to the point where, you know, I think it got to the point where, you know, I think it got to the point where, you know, I think it got to the point where, you know, I think it got to the point where, you know, I think it got to the point where, you know, I think it got to the point where, you know, I think it got to the point where, you know, I think it got to the point where, you know, I think it got to the point where, you know, I think it got to the point where, you know, I think it got to the point where, you know, I think it got to the point where, you know, I think it got to the point where, you know, I think it got to the point where, you know, I think it got to the point where, you know, they definitely were a little more focused on the two of them and what they were doing, which is perfectly fine and okay.
Yeah.
I just had to focus on me and what I needed to do. So
I mean, and I'll give you this, to even have that run as long as you guys did,
it was almost
and work for nearly a year and work so well together. Like I give you guys that credit, because it's definitely hard being around it, because the funny part about even with us with that Mountain Fight Team, like we're all around essentially around the same age, and been kind of doing entertainment for a while. With you guys being, around different ages, the tag team actually coming up and developing together. What I'm saying? You kind of being the outside guy, but still having that chemistry and personality, maybe different ideas, but the same chemistry and personality, and did business. Great business. Is commendable, because there aren't a lot of people who can really do that. It's really tough to kind of make that gel and work, and sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But and I'm not saying you guys had anything battling against you, but I from the outside looking at you, I can never tell. And it was a very good run. I saw the group, and it was immediately a fan of the work.
Thank you.
So props, to Ryan, Tommy Becker, you as well. Like I was definitely a fan of the show.
I mean they're awesome guys. We hung out quite a bit. I think, just like life takes you in different paths, so I don't really hang out with them as much as I used to. But the saddest thing of all is the gear, the trunks I had, the last matching ones. Those are so sick. I love what I have now, but those were sick. I don't get to wear them anymore.
Dude, you guys' gear was fire.
Like,
I really enjoyed that.
What I like about it, though, it is one of those things, like we are good friends and we do have that chemistry. So if they ever pair all three of us up again, whether it's here or anywhere else, like that group has the opportunity. Like if I move back home and they come that way for a little bit, like we could do something there. Like people haven't seen it. If we want to do, I always wanted us to get like that Shield face run. I wanted us to have that, but we didn't get to have it.
And it's funny that you say that too, because it's like even when after the Shield broke up and you see all three of them go their separate ways, but it's like those few times on Raw where they were heel and face or whatever, and they just got put together. You were still kind of like not sure what's going to happen, but their opponents are going to get the business, and it's definitely going to be a wild ride, man.
The thing I'm hoping before I leave here is I get a triple threat match with the two of them.
That would be dope.
Yeah, that's what I hope happens at some point. That means they got to do. Split them up at some point. But I hope that happens in MPX.
Or maybe not. Maybe if it's even like the whole like I how they did at Survivor Series with Cena, versus Taker versus Show and Jericho and stuff. So like
I would love if before I leave we could just have one MPX show. One of us has the championship. It's just the MPX title with the three of us. I would love if that happened.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
That'd be cool.
I would definitely enjoy catching that match, man. For sure. So let us know where else guys can find, because I know you're a busy guy. You're traveling a lot. He's up north. You're definitely doing stuff in Texas, kind of doing bigger things. Let people know what you got coming up.
Yeah, I mean this weekend's nice and light. MPX Bedford MPX Event Center. That's Bedford, Texas 76022, 510 Hardwood Road. Yes. Sweet D or C, I believe. You'll see the MPX Nights live wrestling every Saturday. You can catch me versus main event Mike Fox as I defend the MPX Addicts Championship one-on-one against him. He'll have Kyle Davis in his corner, and he'll have the Jason Silver Hardakis mask. What will that mean? I don't know. Let's find out. Let's find out on Saturday when I defend my championship against main event Mike Fox.
That's a tough competitor, man.
He is.
I've had my match. I've had a rivalry with Mike on several occasions. So much fun, but such a great competitor.
Yeah.
So good. I mean, not just like no pun intended. And sorry, Tommy and Ryan, but Jesus, that guy's amazing.
Yeah, Mike. He has his legendary status for a reason.
Yeah, for a reason, definitely
for sure.
Also, social media, man. I don't know where they can find you on social media.
Yes, Twitter is @SolutionSagan, and Instagram.
It's right here.
It's right here. Instagram is Solution_Sagan. I'm trying to get better at social media. I really am.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've tagged you on Twitter stuff, and I was like, God damn, Sagan, Wake up.
All I do is I post these match graphics. I need to get better at this.
I was so mad at you the other day because you're on Twitter, and I was like, Jersey Shore? Where's the wrestling?
Yeah, I'm tweeting about Jersey Shore and not about my wrestling.
I'm like, you
career.
and Real Jackass BC? No, god damn it, wrestling.
Great show.
Great show.
Fun
great
family
show.
fun.
Are you working any other upcoming shows like WWE All Pro or anything outside of the
No.
works?
I know. I'm pretty sure I'm at MPX every week in April. And yeah, I think that's it. Nice light month. We'll see if anything comes up. If anybody wants me, hey, reach out to me. Gmail, book Solution Sagan. I would love to get a booking email in there.
And
That'd
also,
be great.
also, social media. Remind them one more time.
Social media, at Solution Sagan on Twitter and at Solution_Sagan. Where you can see great pictures like me strolling around Dallas with the Prospect Championship on one of these scooters. And I didn't fall.
So hilarious.
Made it.
We definitely appreciate you to come to the show. Thank you, man.
Hold on. We gotta do forearm.
We got to I don't know, I wasn't even prepared for that. It's so damn funny, dude. That's like super 80s, dude. The only thing that would be more crazy if we had like the muscle pack thing and it was just
You
flexing.
got
around.
the bicep. I'm working I came down here like in fantastic shape, and then I was introduced to Panda Express and all types of barbecues.
Oh, dude, like Texas will feed you. That's
Yeah,
one thing I
I
love.
love the food
I'm
here.
from Michigan, but it's like, dude, my mom used to always complain about me having an appetite.
Yeah.
No one in Texas complains about me.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, besides friends and coworkers, but.
Tony's Pizza and Pasta in Bedford.
Oh, yeah.
Best pizza I've had down here because the guy's straight out of New Jersey. He knows how to make the pie.
nice.
He knows how to make the pie. He makes it crispy.
That's awesome. And if you want more content like this, you can follow me, Kenny Steele, on Twitter and Instagram, KenDogDMFT, and definitely like the video. Subscribe to this video and hit that damn bell icon so you can get notifications on all of our upcoming videos and when we post them and such and things. You know what to do. You know how to internet. Look at you sitting up there on your phone, internet in a way, or your computer, or your laptop, or your television, doing stuff, just being a helpful, smart, wise individual. I'm not going to say shame on you. I'm going to say shame on you if you don't subscribe. And you got a whole bucket of shame on your shame list, and that's something your mother never wanted you to have. So like, share, subscribe, enjoy, bell icon for notifications, and until then, we'll see you guys soon. Peace.